Hi, this is David Glover. I want to talk to you a little bit about the off season, or what I like to call the transition season, because you're basically transitioning from one racing season to the next. And I think off season is a little bit sort of misleading because it implies you're taking time off, which you are to a little extent, but not a lot. And I'm going to explain. So I'm going to take you through, there's basically three phases to the off season, starting with rest and recovery, so that's your off period, to sort of ease back into training, so you're kind of making the transition back into training, and then the third period, which is what I call the preseason training. So that's kind of getting you all lined up so you're on track to get to your goal races for the year. So let me walk you through each of those. There's a great quote by marketing expert Seth Godin, who says, "Most of the time, if you ask someone about their agenda, it turns out that it involves doing what's on someone else's agenda." So this is a key point to think about as you put together your own plan for the off season, because your needs, even though you may be training with someone who's done similar races, similar schedule, your off season needs may be different than theirs. So just keep this in mind. So there are the three phases. The first is R&R, or rest and relaxation. The second is ease back into training, and the third is early season training. Let's explore each. So the first phase, R&R, is basically just what it says, doing very little. It's a chance to recharge and refresh both physically and mentally, giving your body some rest. Key point here is the longer, the harder your racing season. For example, if you started racing in April or May and you just finished up in October, it's a pretty long season. You're probably going to need more downtime afterwards. This period is typically 1 to 4 weeks, but it's going to vary on the individual. When you're ready to come out of it, some key indicators are that you start to get restless and anxious because you're not doing very much, and you're really excited to get back in and motivated to train again. The second phase I'm calling ease back into training. So that's going from doing very little to doing something active every day. And by active, I don't necessarily mean you have to swim, bike, and run every day, but it's doing anything that gets you moving, and still maybe taking one day off a week as needed. It's flexible. I feel like training. So doing things that are fun, you mix it up. So in this example here, I've got Pilates on Tuesday. I had a swim schedule, but I didn't really feel like it, so I canceled it. Wednesday, I'm going to do spinning, and since I'm already at the gym, I'll do a short strength workout. Thursday, yoga run day. Friday, I didn't swim early in the week, so I'm going to go ahead and do my swim, but I'm a little tired, not motivated to do my spinning class, so I'll skip that. Saturday strength, Sunday trail run. So key here is just being active, doing a variety of things. It's actually a great time of year for body composition changes. You want to be very careful of intense group sessions. So those midwinter training rides where you smash each other, not always the best thing to do during this period. And again, like the first period, it really is variable, depending, in this case, more on when your first race of the season is. And let's go to the last phase. I'm going to call this early season training. This is where you start to bring up your fitness level. You can add in more swims, bikes, and runs, and plus add in intervals and build strength. And we'll talk a little bit more about the importance of these. It's also a good time to do a field or lab testing to measure your baseline fitness, such as a VO2 max test or a blood lactate test, or simply going out and doing a 5K run. This period is typically 1 to 2 months. If your racing season starts in April or May, this period would typically start in January or February. So 1 or 2 months before you sort of kick into your more formal triathlon training. And the question we get a lot as coaches is, how do we get faster in the off season? And there's really two components to think about. The first on the left is strength training. And any type of strength training is going to improve your muscle function, strength, and power. Your muscles is what it creates the movement that allows you to go faster. Strength training is going to increase your lean muscle mass, which will also decrease your body fat. By being stronger, you decrease your risk of injury. So testosterone is a natural anabolic hormone in your body for both men and women that helps you with recovery and especially from training sessions. And the second component to getting faster is intervals and drills. Intervals and drills basically help improve your muscle fiber firing efficiency. So your muscles, so for example, your quadriceps muscles, the 4 muscles on the front side of your thigh, are composed of small little muscle fibers or muscle cells. By doing intervals and drills, you're increasing the efficiency of how these muscles fibers work together and move the muscle. They're also a chance to train your fast twitch muscle fibers. So fast twitch muscle fibers are the fibers that allow you to go faster, but they don't have as much endurance. But by training them, you're actually using them and increasing their endurance. Intervals and drills, intervals especially, help you sustain harder efforts longer. They also improve form and technique and gives you a little bit of training variability. So if you're like me and like most athletes, if you go out there and just do the same monotonous pace, it gets boring. So intervals or drills are a way to mix it up. So here's an example of a interval set within a swim workout. So this is not the complete workout, but just an interval set. And it's example of a progression. So it gets a little bit more challenging each week. So for example, in week 1, we're going to do 4 by 50. We'll assume it's a meter pool, so 4 by 50 meters. The first 35 fast, and then 15 stretch easy, rest 5 seconds. Do that 4 times. And then we're also going to do 6 by 25 kicking fast, alternating. We'll do the first one back dolphin kick, the second one back flutter kick, and then repeat. The next week, we're going from 4 by 50 to 5 by 50, and we're going from 6 by 25 to 8 by 25. In week 3, we've gone back to 4 for the interval, 4 repetitions for the first interval, but we've bumped it up to 75. And the same thing with the kick. So we've gone from 8 by 25 to 5 by 50. If you look at week 4, if you look at the workout description, so within the 75, although we kept the distance the same, we increased the amount of the workout that's fast. So for example, in week 3, we had 4 by 75s, 25 fast, 35 stretch, 15 fast. In week 4, we've gone to 25 fast, 25 stretch, 25 fast. And we've increased the kick from 5 by 50 in week 3 to 6 by 50 in week 6. So that's an example of a swim interval progression. So it's just a little bit of intervals. We're not saying do a lot of intervals, but do a little bit. Example of a run interval progression. We're going to warm up with dynamic stretches. So these are dynamic exercises that you can do. You're moving your muscles through different ranges of motions. You can find examples of these at schooloftri.com in the classrooms. So, example of a short run interval progression. Week 1, we're going to do 4 by 45 seconds uphill at a tempo pace. So that's a moderate to moderately hard pace. Jog down easy. Week 2, 6 by 45. Week 3, 8 by 45. And then week 4, we're going back to 6 repetitions, but we're going to do them for 1 minute. So again, not all out efforts, but you're going uphill, so moderately hard. Get your heart rate up, jog down. And by doing these, following these 3 phases in the off season, you'll have your success on race day next year. Good luck.